Welcome to the MoChill Zone. Tonight, we have another great show for you. Tonight, Mott's and Chili sit down with their longtime friend Edwin Johnson for part one of a two-part interview and discuss his work and experiences in the Sacramento creative arts community. Then, Mott's and Chili meet up with a longtime friend of the show via Zoom, Venus Hurd, and discuss the tragedies of her past and how she overcame those tragedies and created a path forward, both helping herself and others. As always, if you missed any of our previous episodes, please visit us on Instagram and Facebook for the online release dates of those episodes.
Welcome to the MoChill Zone with your boy Mott
and Chili.
And today we have a very special guest, a friend of mine I've known for many, many years. I'm not going to say how long because it'll say my age. But anyways, a good friend of mine, Mr. Edwin Johnson.
Welcome.
Extraordinaire.
What's up, everybody?
So this guy's been many talents. I can start there. But why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and the good stuff, man.
Well, if we go way back, I'm a military brat born in North Dakota, so
Okay.
that's where the story starts.
Nice.
And my dad retired from the Air Force. He was 20 years Air Force, and we came back to Sacramento. I guess as we call this home base because we moved around a lot. So that's pretty much it as far as that lifestyle, moving around a lot, school to schools, old 2-page list of schools probably. Yeah, it's crazy. Then I joined the Air Force too, and I served 5 years in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And so then, how'd you end up in Sacramento?
Well, we moved back to Sacramento. We were coming from Japan, Okinawa, Japan.
Oh.
We were stationed over at Kadena Air Base, and then we moved to Naha Air Base. So Kadena was the Air Force base, and Naha was a naval base, but they had some Air Force personnel
Got it.
living on that base. So we were over there for a year, and then when my dad retired, that's when we came back to Sacramento, and I ended up going to Sacramento High School.
Sac High.
It was kind of a culture shock for me because I wasn't used to seeing so many brown and black people at one school.
Yes.
Being from North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska,
Man, yeah.
it was. So I was pretty shy, and I was pretty much hanging out in the bathroom at lunchtime because I really didn't know anybody. And then I started meeting people when I started playing basketball. Because I started playing basketball in Washington State when I was 15, learning how to play, and then, that's how I started making the few friends that I had at Sac High.
Nice.
Okay. And then you got many talents, so I'm trying to get you to talk about some of the things that you're doing and you've done so far. And so how did you transition from basketball? What other things that you transitioned to when you were as growing up?
Well, when I was in Okinawa, I always liked the drums.
Okay.
So one of my neighbors, he played in a band. He had like 4 or 5 drum sets, and so he sold me his drum set he had for like $150. And so I started teaching myself kind of how to play. Initially, my dad didn't want me to have a drum set. I started a job, and he was saying, no, you're not going to have spend your money on drums. And that's the reason I started working. I wanted to pay for my drums, and I ran away from home for a whole day until I got hungry. And I came back home. But then he let me get them, and that's when I started playing when I was 15. So just teaching myself, how to play, self-taught.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And what was your genre of music that you mostly played when you were doing that?
R&B, and my first song that I remember
I was going with that, yeah. Or you already got beat me to
it. My first song that I was learning how to play was Brass Construction. It was called "Moving."
Okay,
Nice.
I remember that one. Nice.
It
Song.
was a good they do that the steps too, like the hustle and all that kind of stuff too.
Definitely.
So it was Brass Construction, and it was called "Moving," and that was the one I started on.
Okay.
Nice.
So I still got the record too.
That was my next question.
Nice.
Do you have the record? That might be worth something now. It's very, it's like,
I got the record, and I still have the drum set. I have the same drum set.
Wow.
I just kind of changed some cymbals because the cymbals I had sounded like tin cans. So I finally upgraded to like a Sabian hi-hat,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and that made a difference for me because I was tired of playing on those old cymbals that I had. So
Nice.
I still have the same drum sets in my apartment right now. I haven't played it since last year because I got some new neighbors in there and they were complaining a little bit. But so I'm just kind of keeping it
Well,
quiet.
you can play them over here.
You can always
that's
come
for
over here.
sure.
Yeah, please do come over. We do a jam session anytime, man. You know.
Oh, all right.
You know what I mean? So
That's good to
Yep.
know.
look, you see, plenty of room. We move that
Yep.
stuff right here. Plenty of room.
This
you
is
know
our
what I'm saying?
MP
Yep.
room, the
Exactly.
multi-purpose room.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. And so, okay, there's a lot of other things too. Also, transitioning. A lot of people don't know that you also dance too, right?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah, dance. And you used to dance for some, a pretty famous group, around town here, Technic Crew. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you Soul Train, and you know what I mean.
Well,
a few things, you know, yeah.
I could tell you about that, but my first time dancing in public, because I used to, when I was in Washington State, I used to be up at 3 o'clock.
A
Huh?
little bit closer.
Oh, when I was in Washington State, I used to be up late doing my homework till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Pick Up the Pieces would come on. And I would just start doing my little splits and everything. And I was really shy, so if anybody saw me, I would just stop dancing.
And that's hard to believe. You guys don't know this, but that's hard to believe. You would say that he's shy and going to dance, and I'm saying that now. Those who know I'm talking about. So.
But when I went to Okinawa, they had a party, and nobody was dancing. The girls are on one side, the boys. I was like 15 at the time, and nobody was dancing. So my friend's like, "Hey, we got to get up and start doing dancing or something." And so we all just started doing like the bump, the Skin Tight, Ohio players.
Yeah.
We were doing the bump, and then I always was practicing the robot with Michael Jackson back in private.
Okay.
So when I started doing that, they were like, oh, he knows how to do the robot.
You was popular then, boy.
Yeah.
You was a man back then.
I was doing the robot like Michael Jackson did, and they were like, wow, he so I guess that's when it came out of my shell a little bit.
Okay.
Nice.
So dancing is what got you out of the shell then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dancing, because I did it for my friends. But I had a friend, my friend Janelle, when I got to Sacramento, we met at Cocoa Palms back in the day, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, I like your moves," or something like that, because I was out there dancing. And he was a dancer too, so it was kind of a compliment, I was like, so next thing you know, we were always gigging with each other at the club, and then I found out that he would go down to Soul Train all the time.
Okay.
And so that's how I started. I went with him like 4 times back in 1992, and I was like worried about, because I know that they select the dancers to go through to be on the show, so all the girls get in automatically.
Definitely. Yeah.
The guys, they're picky. They're picky.
Very picky. Very picky.
So I had bought me some baggy jeans and an outfit, so I kind of looked, with it or whatever, and I was able to get in. So
that's awesome.
So the 4 times I went down there, I never had a problem getting back in, because maybe I guess they saw I could dance,
right?
And so they would let me.
And you're like super told, aren't you one of the first people in Sacramento, like the breaking and popping in here too?
No, well, I wasn't one of the first ones.
Yeah, you were.
But I was there at the school where the people that knew how to pop, a lot of the groups back in the day.
Right.
I went to Sac High.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, right. So you're not you were around the pioneers of it that started it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So like one of my friends, when I moved to College Greens in Sacramento, that's where we were living at, and my friend Javier, he was kind of like a closet popper. He's good, but he didn't want to go out there and battle anybody, right? But I found out he had a black derby when he came over, because he knew his mom knew my mom, and so that's how I met him, and I found out he knew how to do that. And I was like, oh, you know how to pop? And so he would show me what he did, and so that's kind of where I got interested in it. But back in the day at Sac High's group was called the Disco Derby Dancers.
Yep, that's what I wanted you to say. So
and then Johnson had like the Prime Ministers. Johnson High School had the Prime Ministers. They had the Rockstar Dolls, which was a girls group. They had Soul Sisters Incorporated, SSI. They were all these dance groups back in the day.
Right.
I wish they had video, because some of them weren't even in groups. Some were so good they didn't even need a group. Like Robert Talbert, he was a really good popper. He could just go solo. He's really kind of bad, bad in a good way.
Yeah.
We know
what that means. Yeah, bad, good.
And Derek from Derek and Company, and I saw them battling, going against each other. So they were really good back in the day. So I was like, man, I want to be able to do that. But I didn't really pick it up until like years later, because Javier would show me, well, how do you look so much better than me?
Yeah.
You know, how come you look so much better than me when you do your popping? So he would show me some things. And now we still look at the dancing as we're older.
Right.
We're looking at the breaking, and it's evolved so much.
Oh, yeah,
It's
definitely.
Gymnastics. I was like, man, I can't even think about doing that even in my
to
dream.
where it is in the Olympics.
I was going to ask you, what was your thought? What's your thought about the Olympics and the
Did you see the Australian one, Ray Gun?
Yeah, I kind of felt sorry for her.
Yeah. You know, her husband is actually the backstory. Her husband is one of the people who actually started it there and got it going. That's what happened. So she her and her husband is actually people who started it in Australia for breaking.
I watched I saw the actual full clip before. They basically like took the worst parts and made the clips that we've seen.
Yeah, but still.
But like, basically, she looks good in between. Like, she looks like she's about to do something, and then like she ends up doing some like.
Yeah. You know, I looked at her and said, she's a cute girl, but I just felt bad. If I was her dad, I would say, you know, you're going to have to drop out because you're really not on that level of the breaking out there. I would have had to be honest with her.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt really bad for her, though.
She's the only one that we know, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, now, these days, no publicity is bad publicity,
Yeah.
right? Like, she's probably, like, made off the best out of any of the Olympic dancers.
Well, and they showed some breakers and dancers in Sacramento, but I wish they should show some real breakers and the real.
There's so much
they had some
talent
good ones.
in the
real
United
dancers.
States, period. There's so much talent we have over there. But even the other countries have evolved. I mean,
Yeah, like France is good.
in Korea and Japan.
Oh yeah,
When I first went to Japan, the second time I
I
went
know
to
Japan got some. So
yeah, I went for work for a month to Kumamoto, Japan
okay,
in 1991, and I befriended a family over there, and I was dancing to some of my music, and I did a little bit of popping for them, and they were looking at me like, wow, what's that? I had never seen that before.
Oh.
And that was back in 91.
Wow.
But now everybody's caught back up now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've evolved because they see the American dancing.
Definitely.
And they're like, we want to do that too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Breakin's made it over there now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. No, they bad.
Our culture is everywhere.
It's everywhere,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. So and you say music. So you do your own music too, right?
No,
You
no, I just play the records with my
Okay.
drum set now.
Okay.
I've never
Nice.
been really in a band. Plus, my drum set's not really on that professional level, so I just feel like, But I can keep a basic beat,
Okay.
But I do have some software on my computer that I can create my music. I just haven't explored it yet, so I can get good at it yet.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, MoChill. We could do something. I've been trying to get you to do something with us anyways for a minute. You've been trying to duck and dodge me for a little bit. That's how it is. We got to hold me hostage. Do you know how long it took me to get him to get an interview right here now? Y'all just don't know. Took a long time. I mean, his daughter, and we got her before he got him. I've known him for years. How about that?
I'm the kind of person I'd rather promote everybody else except myself. I've always kind of been that way.
Just like Larry.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's not about me, okay? This story's about him, okay?
But that's how I've been. If I know somebody that's doing something over here that needs to meet somebody over here, I'll hook them up.
I know that because International Fair, he hooked it up with us and
Yeah.
and everything. And also too, he has a nephew who sings, Nevin.
He
Yeah.
goes by Lyrical, and
Okay.
he's really talented with the computer software, putting music. He does his own singing and everything. Sometimes the singing isn't on the par that I would like it to be, but he's doing the best he can by himself. But I think he should get out there too, but he's just too busy paying bills right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get that.
see, that's what you don't know about my friend like this. This is a friend, honest. Okay, they ain't gonna tell you if it ain't nothing good. He gonna let you know. So if you got
Yeah.
crappy music, he will.
Yeah. I will let you know.
He will let you know. Trust me. Trust me.
If you want an honest
opinion.
review, I will give it to you.
Because our podcasts are sound. Sometimes you guys have our first few ones sometimes the sound wasn't good because of the microphones and everything. People
Yeah.
weren't speaking into them.
Yeah.
And I got an earful. He was one of the first people to call me and say, "Hey man, it's kind of messed up when you're listening to." I say, "Hey man, we're working on it."
Yeah, I mean, it can ruin the whole interview if you can't get the sound. So,
Sure.
I wanted you guys to be better and top notch, and so, I wanted to give you guys a little critique. And
I appreciate
stuff.
that though.
And I appreciate it coming back my way too. When I start doing my voiceover, I expect the same thing.
Sure.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna take a quick break right here.
That was part 1 with Edwin Johnson. Look for part 2 in an upcoming episode. And now, Venus Hurd.
Welcome to the MoChill Zone with your boy Mox
And Chili. And Venus.
Oh, today we have a very special guest, someone I've known since I was like 12 years old. The very one and only Venus Hurd. Hey, how you doing there?
Welcome.
So how you doing? So yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen you and everything. So tell us, tell the people about yourself. I know about you, but tell the people about you.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, where do I start? Where do I start?
Wherever you want to start.
Well,
Like where you're from, things like that. We know you went to.
I'm from California. I've been basically everywhere. I was raised in Sacramento. I lived in LA when I was a little kid.
Okay, nice.
My grandparents raised me basically. My mom was always working. I'm the oldest of 5. I'll tell you what.
Must have been a eventful household.
It was hard. It was hard. My grandparents did not play. My grandmother had every kind of fruit tree you could think of in the backyard.
Nice.
And when one of us would act up, we had to go pick a switch. And we learned which switches not to get.
Learned pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Those hurt.
Get the ones that break easiest, huh?
Oh, gosh, man.
You don't want to do that because then they can get another one.
Huh?
So you don't want to do that, then they make you get another one. Or they'll tie them together.
Oh, yeah. My grandma would tell us, she'd be like, don't bring me in no twig, because you bring me in the twig, I'm going to beat your ass twice as hard if I have to go get it myself.
See, nowadays this will be considered child abuse. Back then, it was
Back then, it was acceptable. Our parents, our principals used to whoop our ass in school.
Yeah, back in the day, you can get paddled in school. Some schools would let you paddle. But yeah, that's a long time ago. Long time.
I don't remember.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah. So tell the people that I know that you have people you've gone with. One of which is actually running for the presidency of.
Oh, who would that be? We're not talking about Kamala, are we?
Maybe, possibly, yeah, some of your favorite people
What's up, Kamala?
Yeah. So, you want to tell? Yeah, you guys were teenagers, right? In the Bay Area.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we hung with the same group. We didn't know each other personally, but I remember when I lived in Las Vegas. And it was right before she announced that she was becoming vice president. And we were at the LGBTQ community club in Las Vegas in 2017.
Nice.
And she came out and just started talking to me. We were standing there at the flagpole. And we just started talking like no time had passed at all.
Nice.
Just talking like friends.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, wow, I just talked to Kamala Harris, man. And I'm like, wow. It just still amazes me. And she's going to be president.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah.
We don't get into politics, but I'll say that. Hopefully.
She will.
So tell the people what you're doing and what you actually about a little bit more about yourself and what you actually are you're trying to push and advocate for. What's the people so they know more about you.
For human trafficking survivors, women and men and children, whoever, my heart goes out to them because I know how it feels. I was in a ring.
Oh,
from
no.
Las Vegas to Michigan, and it almost took my life, but I just look at it like I took one for the team.
Wow. Well, it's
Yeah.
great that you turned that negative experience into, helping other people out.
Yeah, she
I
does. She
have
advocates for
to.
stuff like that.
I have to, because if I don't, it's going to tear me up. And instead of me going out there and acting all crazy and stupefied and fighting everybody, I just decided to refix my house.
Good for you. Well, I think that's a good point that, and sometimes we think we're trying to fix ourselves when the best thing we can do is help others, and that's kind of how we fix ourselves in the
Yeah,
end.
but see, how can you help others if you're not fixed? If you're broken or you're a mess or you're confused, don't know what the hell is going on, how you going to help anybody else?
It's true. It's true. But it sounded like you were able to. Did you have to get over some stuff before you were able to help other people, or what was the process in terms of getting to the point where you could help other people?
Well, I've been through a lot, and it's been hard, but I got through it, and it's just really hard to remember, because it was so abusive and terrifying.
Yeah.
But I remember some things, and let's just say that I don't remember everything, but I was looking at 30 years in court. I don't know what happened. I know I woke up in the hospital talking to the FBI. I think I
Wow.
snapped. I know I did break his nose.
The FBI agent.
Well, after I was told I was one in 5 that survived, and I'm like, I keep trying to die, but they keep me here.
Oh,
I
wow.
woke up talking to a doctor. He's like, she's coherent. I'm like, who are you talking to? There's nobody in this room. And come find out, my ex-husband was on the FBI's most wanted list. He was a human trafficker from Flint, Michigan.
Wow.
And
Well,
I
I'm
was
glad you
his
survived
next
that.
guy.
Jeez. So
Yeah.
what type of things are you doing? Like, how can people get involved if they want to help?
You know what? I got a profile on TikTok. I have a small circle. I don't want to be, I don't know how to say it. I just don't want to be so rich and famous that I have to shut up from everything and everybody. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to help people where I can. And people ask me, they're like, "You're so strong. How'd you do it?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So,
So
but
You've got it.
tell the people. Go on, so go ahead, please go ahead.
Sorry, you got it. So you have a TikTok channel.
uh-huh. Yeah. I have a few of them, trying to get rid of some of them. I have one's under my name, Venus Heard, and then one's under Karma Heard You. I think I got like 13 pages, and I take care of all of them myself.
Okay. And
So
is it just like talking about your story and
Mm-hmm.
helping the folks?
Yeah.
Nice.
I get stupid people in there talking about, how do you know? I'm like, I experienced it. I'm not gonna lie to you about anything I haven't been through. What does that do? If I don't know about something, I'm not gonna talk about it.
There's always those people that need to be trolls. So
Oh my gosh. They
you ever try
get
to
on
do
my
something
nerves.
positive? Yeah. You
Yeah.
just gotta. It's the cost of doing business, unfortunately, online.
Yeah.
But you just can't let it affect you from being positive and spreading your positivity.
Yeah. So tell the people. You're being coy with everything now. You're kind of laid back. So I know probably a little bit late there where your time. We're on a 3-hour difference. But tell the people like some of the things. You make lots of TikTok videos and you got like 7,000-8,000 followers on one of them. Tell the people about like some of the things that you're actually doing so they can be able to like know how they can follow you and see about so they can actually what you're doing to how you turned your life around since then, because it'll empower other people who might be going through that similar things right now and they don't know how or what to do and know what route to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was wild. I was wild. I could not be controlled. I could not be contained because my family didn't want nothing to do with me, because I was disabled now. So they threw me out like a sack of old potatoes. I was like, what?
So tell the
I'm
people
sorry, I don't mean to curse.
Tell the people you're disabled. Tell them. You share that experience of what happened? I mean, I want you to feel comfortable.
Okay. Well, it all goes back to 1984, and I still get blamed for that. Because I was riding my brother's bike to school, and I don't know what happened. I know it was 7:55 in the morning. I got hit by a city bus on the way to school.
Wow.
Yeah, they actually announced it on the intercom. We were in junior high school, and they announced it in the intercom that one of the students had been hit by a bus. So
yeah,
yeah,
it was on Diablo Drive. I was 13 and it was 1984. And I just sit there and I can't do simple math, but I could do geometry and trigonometry, no problem. Right. But, I just start adding the numbers, like certain numbers, 1384. I'm like, something's going on here.
And that was from the accident.
Yeah. And I don't remember anything. All I remember is that my mom had to quit her job. My grandparents had to take a second mortgage out on my house, and they blamed me for that.
Jeez.
And I got blamed for everything. And then they wanted to act like nothing even happened. They had me working at my grandmother's antique store, and my grandpa had me working at his auto body shop. And then my mom had me babysitting my brothers and sisters all the time because she was working. And I think God said, you know what? Enough's enough. We're going to take her and put her over here. And that's why I live in another state now.
So tell the people because your story, there's a lot of things that you're not actually sharing with everybody. I'm trying to get you to be able to share and talk about it, but you share it's important that you went through everything you've gone through, and to like share with somebody who might be going through something that's going to be able to help them. And then I want you to share that with people, and also tell them about the fun things that you're doing now, how you change and turn your life around now because you own your own house and you're doing really well for yourself. So so you need to tell the people that because they might be going through something like that, and they might like, hey, you know what? Your story helped me, and I appreciate that.
Stay tuned for more with Venus Hurd after this.